Do it later. Let's zip it up. 13 is too easy, so let's go to 14. 14 said synthetic division. The divisor, which is your denominator there, is going to tell you, oh, that arrow is too big for that problem. That's just ridiculous. Here, we'll stretch her out. Come here. Oh, no, that's worse. Okay, well. So you look at the denominator. You set it equal to 0. Okay, that's got to go. And so that gives you -3 as your number off here to the side. So again, take your denominator, set it equal to 0, and solve it. That tells you what the factor is. So that's what goes in that little box. Okay, we got issues. What's the issues? Placeholders. That's beautiful. I have 1x to the 5th. I have no x to the 4th. I have 1x cubed. Maya, don't encourage him. I have no x squareds. I have no x's. And I do have a 1. Whoop. That's nice. That's a long one there. Okay, bring down the first number. Whatever it is. Multiply, add. Multiply, add. Don't get that calculator out. I hear them. I hear them. They'll slow you down. They're not your friends. That calculator. You think it's your friend. Negative times a negative is a positive. If they're different signs, it's negative. Make sure you're adding all these and not subtracting them. Make sure you're all lined up. It's easy when your numbers get larger to lose your line here. If we had one more there, it might get a little funky. If I had a 0 right there, I might have a problem. Make sure everything's lined up correctly. Okay, so that's not difficult. But you have to know how to write your final answer because that sure is not it. So the last number that I had put in the box, that's your remainder. Over x plus 3. Good, yeah, sorry. It took me a minute to process what you all had just said. Okay, so I have to put your remainder over your, I'll do my skinny arrow there, what you divided by. And then everything else goes in order. 90 is the constant. No x's with that. It's positive, so I put plus. I said plus, but I meant plus. X to the first. And then x squared is next. It's positive, so I put plus. -3x cubed. And then we have 1x to the 4th. That's a chunk of change right there. That actually was exactly on that quiz you took a few weeks ago. I think that is that problem. So that's your final answer. So don't forget placeholders. You're going to be, if you're moving fast on your test, you're likely to forget a placeholder. So just when you get your test, you might want to write placeholder on the top so you don't forget. All right, any questions on that? No, I think synthetic was pretty strong for this class. Okay. Vertical asymptotes were all about the denominator. It's all about the base. Okay, I didn't sing it though. I mean, I am in my head. I'm thinking it. Okay, so all we care about is the denominator. And we want to know what makes that denominator equal to 0. There are two things that could make the denominator 0 if x was equal to 0.
Well, you can't use x equals 0.
That's right, Weaver. How come?
The top will be 0.
That's right. That's beautiful. Okay. So we have figured out two numbers that give us a 0 in the denominator. The problem is, before we circle them both, you have to check to make sure they do not give you a 0 in the numerator. If you plug in 0 into the numerator, obviously you get 0. So that's a no-go. How could I have decided that from the very beginning? James Russell, you see it. How could I have gotten rid of that in the beginning? So I didn't even have to worry about that.
You can cancel it, so that's.
Yeah, good. That x would have canceled with that x right there. Okay, let me do that. Those x's canceled. I mean, you could cancel them from the very beginning and have 1 over x minus 5, and that would help you see that there's only one vertical asymptote, and it's x equals 5. So only one vertical asymptote. Either cancel things in the beginning if you can, or just test everything to make sure it does not give you a 0 in the numerator. All right, so that's vertical. 16, you would have to factor that one. Again, we don't care about the numerator right now. So we have x squared minus 8x plus 15. You're going to factor that into 2 parentheses with an x and an x. Two numbers that multiply to give you 15, but when you add them, you get negative 8. So it's negative 3 and negative 5. So if I set each of those equal to 0 and solve them, I get x equals 3 and x equals 5. Neither of those give me a 0 in the numerator, so I have 2 vertical asymptotes for that one.